Days of Our Lives Spoiler 25th, A New Dawn, Doubts, and Dangerous Truths in Salem. Johnny's joy turns to inner turmoil. Johnny has always been passionate, impulsive, and full of dreams. But now, as he stands on the brink of fatherhood through adoption, his joy is met with an unexpected undercurrent of anxiety. The papers are signed. The path has been paved. He and Chanel are about to welcome the unborn child of Sophia and Tate into their lives. And yet, the closer that day comes, the more the weight of responsibility begins to settle on Johnny's shoulders. He gazes at the future not with dread but with a deep introspection. Can he truly be the father this child needs? Is he capable of providing the stability, the compassion, the moral compass that every child deserves? The question isn't born out of arrogance but out of legacy. His lineage is complicated. His own father, and especially his grandfather, have histories that cast long, dark shadows. Johnny wants to believe that he is different, that he can forge a new path. But the ghosts of the past don't give up easily. Chanel's excitement and Paulina's unshakable support. While Johnny wrestles with self-doubt, Chanel is filled with optimism. She can already imagine the lullabies, the tiny clothes, the first steps, and the endless milestones of parenthood. Her excitement is genuine, her joy contagious. And right by her side is Paulina, her mother and her fiercest champion. Paulina, ever the force of nature, wraps Chanel in warmth and encouragement. She doesn't just believe that Chanel will be a good mother, she knows it. And she looks forward to the day she can cradle her grandchild in her arms, showering them with love, gifts, and a grandmother's boundless affection. But even as Paulina plans baby showers and Chanel sets up the nursery, there's a quiet question neither of them dares to speak aloud. What if Sophia changes her mind? A mother's instinct and the uncertainty of adoption is never simple. And as much as Johnny and Chanel prepare, the truth remains until that baby is born and the final decisions are made, everything could change. Sophia is young, vulnerable, and still carrying the child. Right now, she has agreed to the adoption, but once she hears her baby cry, once she looks into those tiny eyes, everything she thought she wanted might unravel. And what about Tate? He may be young too, but fatherhood can awaken powerful feelings. It wouldn't be the first time in Salem that a seemingly secure adoption shattered into emotional chaos. And Johnny, already plagued by doubts, could find himself facing heartbreak before he ever gets to hold his child. Brady awakens and Salem holds its breath while new life stirs in one corner of town. Another part of Salem turns its attention to a man caught between life and death, Brady. For months, Bo has been lying in a coma, unresponsive despite Hope's tireless vigil at his side. Every day, Hope has sat there, whispering prayers, sharing memories, holding on to the smallest sliver of belief that the man she loves would come back to her. Now, at last, something has shifted. There's a flicker, a movement, a moment. The medical monitors don't lie, Bo is waking up. And the ripple effect of his return will be felt across the entire town. For Sean, Bo's son, this awakening couldn't come at a more critical time. His life has been unraveling, his marriage to Belle is over, his entanglement with Jada is messy, and the shooting of EJ still looms like a dark cloud. A father's return could be the anchor he desperately needs. The tangled web of Sean and Jada. Sean's relationship with Jada was never meant to be permanent, but it was supposed to offer solace. Unfortunately, the timing and the deception turned it into something far more complicated. Jada believed her relationship with Rafe had ended. She was hurt, vulnerable, and turned to Sean in a moment of shared loneliness. But what she didn't know was that the man she thought was Rafe wasn't him at all. He was an imposter, Arnold, a cruel impersonation of the man she once loved. Now that the truth is out, real Rafe is back and furious. He can't understand how Jada didn't know the difference. He sees her night with Sean as betrayal, even if it wasn't. For Jada, the pain of the situation is twofold: shame for a mistake she never intended, and resentment that Rafe can't see the truth beyond his ego. It's time for clarity, for healing, and for people to start owning their actions. But in Salem, that's often easier said than done. Belle and EJ, a conversation long overdue. Meanwhile, Belle is finally given the opportunity to speak her truth, but this time, EJ is awake. The last time she tried to unburden her heart, he lay in a hospital bed, unconscious and unaware. This time, she looks into his eyes and sees the man she once knew. She has secrets, confessions, and years of emotion bottled up. But now she must ask herself, does she still have a place in EJ's life? Or has too much damage already been done? EJ, for his part, listens. No sarcasm, no posturing, just silence and waiting. And it's clear he needs to hear everything Belle has to say, not as a politician or schemer, but as a man who once loved her. Maybe still does. Closing thoughts, storms and sunrises. As the episode draws to a close, the skies over Salem reflect the emotional tempests brewing below. A baby's future hangs in the balance, a father awakens from a long sleep, and hearts wrestle with truths too long buried. The decisions made in these quiet, vulnerable moments will reshape families, break old patterns, and perhaps, just perhaps, offer a path toward redemption. Because in Salem, no secret stays buried, no emotion stays hidden, and no life ever unfolds without a storm before the calm. And this Friday, those storms are just beginning to gather. Next, on Yesterday episode, this week, the quiet promise of a town fundraiser erupts into emotional chaos as long-simmering tensions between Xander and Philip reignite in spectacular fashion. And at the center of this combustible reunion? Sarah, torn, heartbroken, and increasingly uncertain about where her loyalties should lie. It begins, of all places, in the calm of morning. Xander, ever the iconoclast, lounges comfortably in his robe at the breakfast table. His casual defiance, a robe instead of clothes for a public event, strikes Sarah as embarrassing and wildly inappropriate. She scolds him gently but firmly, reminding him that they're expected at the hospital fundraiser. It's not just about appearances, it's about community, image, and yes, dignity. But Xander is tired. Tired of pretending, tired of putting on a face for people who, as he sees it, have done nothing but betray him. The robe is more than clothing, it's a statement. A symbol of defiance in the face of people he no longer trusts. And when Sarah tries to gently redirect him, he doesn't see a partner trying to help. He sees yet another person trying to control him. It's in this emotionally charged moment that Philip arrives. Cool, collected, and clearly on a mission. There's no beating around the bush, he's come to drop a bombshell. And he delivers it with all the subtlety of a freight train. I'm not the only one who betrayed you, Xander, Philip says, his voice edged with something between guilt and vengeance. So did your wife. Sarah freezes. Xander turns to her, eyes narrowing, his breath hitching just slightly. It's the kind of moment that stops time. Philip continues, laying out his version of the truth that Sarah had known about the deception all along. That she wasn't just a bystander, but an accomplice. Someone who chose silence over loyalty. But before the fallout can take hold, Xander jerks awake. It was only a dream, a vivid, unsettling nightmare fueled by paranoia and the growing sense that not everything in his life is as it seems. Beside him, Sarah stirs, and he rouses her gently. Time to get ready for the fundraiser, he says, his tone clipped, his eyes still clouded with the residue of his imagined betrayal. At the town square, as the fundraiser gets underway, Sarah and Xander arrive a bit later than planned. Sarah regrets not bringing Victoria, thinking a family appearance might have helped smooth things over. Xander, however, is uninterested in appearances. His mind is elsewhere. And when his eyes lock on Philip across the square, it's clear that his internal storm is about to break. Sarah, sensing the tension mounting, urges Xander to let it go. Don't let him ruin this for us, she pleads. But Xander isn't ready to listen. Not yet. Elsewhere, Stephanie and Alex are enjoying a quiet moment of their own before heading out. Stephanie brings him coffee in bed, a small act of tenderness that briefly lifts the mood. The two share some flirtatious banter, but beneath the surface there's unease. Alex confesses he's still shaken by Xander's public outburst the day before. Stephanie shares the concern and adds a deeper one. What if Xander finds out the truth about Sarah? What if everything explodes all over again? They both agree now isn't the time for secrets to come to light. With the fundraiser calling, they put on their best faces and prepare for another round of carefully masked tension. Back at the square, things reach a boiling point. Xander, unable to contain his fury, launches into a tirade against Philip in front of everyone. He demands answers. He demands retribution. And then, in a moment that turns heads and draws stunned gasps, he insists that JJ arrest Philip for fraud. JJ, calm but firm, asks for more details. It's a public scene now, and all eyes are on the brothers. Xander stammers. The truth is murky, and he can't bring himself to say what's really behind his anger. Not yet. Instead, he accuses Philip of lying about business dealings, a weak cover for something far more personal. JJ, seasoned and skeptical, says it's a civil matter and not his jurisdiction. But then Xander drops a chilling line. Then maybe you should stay, in case I kill him. The crowd gasps. Sarah, horrified, slaps Xander hard across the face. Stop it, she shouts. It's just a family fight. Her voice shakes with both fear and fury. JJ, ever the professional, nods cautiously and steps back, but not far. The tension is too thick, the energy too volatile. Philip, ever the strategist, thanks Xander for sparing him, though he makes it clear he doesn't believe it was done out of mercy. You need me, he says, at least until we pull off this Demera takeover. But that doesn't mean you can beat me. The words are calculated, meant to provoke. And they do. Xander lunges again, but Sarah steps between them. Her face, once soft with concern, now hardens with resolve. Enough, she says. Go get some hot dogs, Xander. I'll deal with him. It's a simple request. But beneath it lies a mountain of unspoken words, words about love, loyalty, and the impossible task of choosing between two men bound by blood but divided by everything else. Sarah stands alone now with Philip, her expression unreadable. Is she angry? Disappointed? Or is there something deeper brewing? Sympathy, perhaps? Curiosity? Or maybe, just maybe, a part of her still cares about the man who just upended everything. One thing is certain, in Salem, nothing stays buried forever. Not secrets. Not betrayals. And certainly not the bitter rivalries of the Kiriakis family. And as the sun sets over the town square, one can't help but wonder. When the next truth comes to light, will it destroy the fragile peace they've managed to cling to, or finally set them free?